new life. It is beautiful and full of potential. But new life is also incredibly fragile. These are the eggs of a favorite North Carolina fish, the striped bass. For over 4 centuries, our coastal fisheries have fueled the economic engine of eastern North Carolina, providing food, jobs, and enjoyment for citizens and visitors alike. But what was once one of the nation's most productive coastal resources finds itself in a state of depletion. What would you say if I told you North Carolina has the potential to have world-class fisheries? What started as a question from a small group of business leaders and concerned North Carolinians has emerged as a fast-growing, innovative foundation committed to building world-class fisheries and thriving coastal economies. Since its inception, the North Carolina Marine and Estuary Foundation has focused on solutions. We're excited to announce a brand new partnership with 2 state agencies looking to restore the striped bass population on the Roanoke River and Albemarle Sound. First, I think it's helpful to understand the problem we're trying to solve. Striped bass are migratory. They live in the Atlantic Ocean and they return to the North Carolina rivers every spring. In the case of the Roanoke River and Albemarle Sound, these fish swim through Oregon Inlet and make their way to the Roanoke just downstream of Plymouth. From there, they swim upstream to the town of Weldon in Halifax County. The fertilized eggs make their way back down the river and are transported to Albemarle Sound, which is the estuary. The problem is this. Certain years, if the water flows are too high, in other words, if they're over the banks, the fertilized eggs and fry are transported into the back swamps where they are stranded and will die. This is a problem that we've seen for successive years. Part of the solution to this problem is to kickstart recovery of the striped bass population with the use of hatchery fish. The Division of Marine Fisheries and the Wildlife Resources Commission plan to stock at least 800,000 juvenile striped bass over the next 3 years. The North Carolina Marine Estuary Foundation has a 2-part financial strategy to support these efforts. But I bet you're wondering, where do the hatchery fish come from and how does the hatchery process work? Adult broodfish, spawning fish we call them, are captured by Wildlife Commission biologists from the Roanoke River near Weldon and transported alive on a hatchery truck to the Wildlife Commission's Watha State Fish Hatchery in Pender County. Upon arrival, each fish is injected with hormone prior to placement in circular spawning tanks. Approximately 24 hours later, the adult females release their eggs and the males quickly fertilize the eggs. It really is incredible how many conditions have to be perfect for striped bass to spawn successfully, for juveniles to survive in the wild, and then for them to return as adults back to the same spawning grounds. We're not trying to replace the natural process, but we're trying to help it out just a little bit. Recall that this wild striped bass was transported from the Roanoke River spawning grounds to the state fish hatchery. An important part of the restoration strategy is that the genetics of the population remain pure. After spawning, the eggs are siphoned and placed in hatching jars. After 48 hours, the eggs hatch and swim out of the flow-through system into aquaria. 2 days later, the fry are poured through an electric fry counter and transferred into holding tanks, and then transferred yet again into earthen ponds on the hatchery grounds. After 6 weeks of living in ponds where they grow to almost 2 inches, they are brought into the hatchery building and ready for release. The juveniles are loaded into hatchery trucks and released directly into the water on the lower Roanoke River and Albemarle Sound. The foundation is excited to partner financially with the Wildlife Commission in support of the hatchery production and stocking of 1.5 million fry and almost 800,000 striped bass fingerlings in 2023. Now that the hatchery fish have found a home in Albemarle Sound, how do we know that the stocking worked? How do we measure stocking effectiveness? Is there a way that we can do that? Well, the answer to that question is yes, we can. By using genetic marking techniques, biologists can determine conclusively whether fish that are recaptured were born in the wild or if they came from the hatchery. The genetic information from each adult broodfish used during hatchery production is archived. It is kept as reference material as the recipe for each batch of fish. Division of Marine Fisheries staff will sample fish collected from Albemarle Sound throughout the summer to survey the abundance of young striped bass. A small sliver of fin is cut from each fish prior to release. The fin clips collected are sent to a genetics lab where they are compared against the genetic recipes from each tank of broodfish used in the hatchery. Through this process, stocking successfulness can be measured not only in the first year after release, but over the lifetime of each fish. The Marine and Estuary Foundation is partnering directly with the Division of Marine Fisheries to financially support the genetic marking program. The striped bass story is but one example of a fisheries problem that requires a measurable solution. The North Carolina Marine and Estuary Foundation has a straightforward approach to problem solving. Untangle confusion first, because there's plenty of it out there. Simplify the messaging, because who knows really what's going on? And then to work with others to build consensus every time we can. Let's ask ourselves, why can't North Carolina become the premier fishing destination in the country? We have world-class shorelines, sounds, and inlets. Shouldn't our fisheries be the same? The critical step lies in our collective efforts to work together. Partner with us as we strive to unlock the world-class potential of North Carolina's coastal fisheries.